pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please excuse us for the electronic delay. Those things just happen. But welcome to the regular session of the Goldendale City Council for December 21st, 2019. We don't have any word on Jane Roberts. Okay. Volleyball, okay. The season's coming to an end pretty soon. So we need a motion to excuse Jane Roberts from this council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded to excuse Jane Roberts from this regular session of the Goldendale City Council. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, before we do a motion on the agenda, I need to add an amendment to our agenda. The amendment is to add a second presentation during the meeting. Ray Mossbrucker will have the first. Leslie Narrowmore, the Executive Director of the Washington Gorge Action Program, will be presenting information for us on the food bank here in Goldendale. Do we have a motion to accept that change?
I'll make that motion. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept this change in the agenda to add Leslie Narrowmore and her presentation on WAGAP Food Bank. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we'll go on to the presentations, and the first presentation on the docket is Ray Mossbrucker.
Before we begin on the abolishment.
Watch out. Sorry. Me too, sorry.
Actually, you get two of us tonight. There's so many more of you, I didn't want to come by myself.
We're not bad.
Angela will be passing out some literature that we put together, presentation for you folks.
It's not as long as it was.
I'd like to start off by just basically giving you a quick update on the Stargazer RV Park that will be opening soon. Soon being sometime between the first of the month and Thanksgiving. We anticipate at this point. Everybody's been asking me for 5 months when we're going to open, and I say when it's done. We're getting pretty close to it. The grass isn't growing real fast, but I guess it's not going to until spring. We did put about 2.4 acres of spray of grass in. So if those of you that have the picture, the brown will be green, we hope. We really hope that. Start out by just giving you a brief on the building itself, on the literature that you folks have. We have the resort office, which used to be Dr. Tupper's office, that we moved down from the hospital. What?
Page 2 is where he's looking.
Oh, page 2. They know that.
No, they didn't.
Well, they'll find it. Anyway, that building is, basically we've done very little to it, other than put it up on foundation and put power to it, and a lot of power to it. But that'll be our reception building. We did open up one wall because the rooms are quite small in that building. So we opened one up and make it a larger area for the reception area and the office. When you come in, you'll check into the picture on your right. And just directly behind me when I'm taking the picture was where I opened up the wall into the next room. And that'll be more of a lobby area, coffee, donuts. There'll be a TV in there, comfortable chairs if they want to. If they're tired riding in their RV, they can come in there and gossip for a while. I know we do that sometimes when we're traveling, actually quite a lot. It will also have an exercise room in it. It will also have a kitchen in it. Business center will be in there, computers for the folks. And one corner will be our company offices. And if you go on to the next building, you'll see it on your right in the middle of the page, on page 2. That building is a 60 by 40 building. And that building houses the men's restroom, the women's restroom, a potluck room with a kitchen. Just to give you an idea, especially you folks that don't have this, the men's restroom is 723 square feet. The women's restroom is 794. Of course, my wife had to have the women be bigger. And the potluck room is 755 with a full kitchen in it. Microwave, dishwasher, oven, so people can go there and have potlucks and heat up their food, or just a joining meeting place. All rooms are air conditioned and heated, of course. And we also have a laundry room just off the meeting room. There'll be 3 washers and 4 dryers in there for our guests. We'll also allow our motel guests to come over and utilize that. We've had a tremendous amount of requests for that over the years. So it'll just make us a little more complete. We're going to do something a little bit different in the reception room. We have one wall that's, what's that wall, 10 feet high and 15 feet long, roughly. Instead of just putting regular decoration on it, we're going to have things in the area to do, like the observatory, Presby Mansion, Maryhill Museum, wineries, Stonehenge. We're looking for, and I've talked to most of these people, and they're putting them together for us, decent-sized pictures that we can put on the wall. So when people are standing there checking in, they'll look up and say, "Oh, wow, where's that at?" Yeah. So that'll do a couple things. One, it'll help the tourism in our community. It'll also make them stay another day or two. We don't mind that.
That's fine.
That's the idea anyway. That's pretty much what I've got going basically on the project itself. We have 52 spaces. We'll accommodate monthly and daily. People coming in and stay one night and travel on. But other than that, any questions at all for you on the RV park?
Council, any questions?
Thank you.
Okay,
Certainly a nice facility.
thank you.
Yes, it is.
We're working very hard to make Goldendale proud of it. I know we're going to be proud of it.
It's very nice.
We raked a lot of rocks. It's a long ways from a cow pasture to what it is now. The next thing we need to talk about, I'll basically turn it over to Angie, why we're officially here. One last thing I have to say to you is, any of you that you would like to come out and see our project, please give me a call, or my red pickup's out there, I'm there. And that's most of the time, so you're welcome to come in, I'd be happy to show it to you. Angie, would I'm sure most of you know Angela Hoffman, my CPA, and my daughter.
Okay, one more thing I'd like to add on the review of what we've done so far is we've worked very hard to use local contractors and local suppliers out of Clickitat County. Not everybody, we didn't have all options in Goldendale, but between White Salmon and Goldendale, we've used the majority. We've done the majority of the park, which is great because that means the money that's coming into the county is supporting local businesses, and that's new money coming into the county instead of just recycling money that was already here. And I love that. And if you look at the very front page, there's a list of some of our local contractors. And we've been very pleased with them. So the reason we're here, other than just, hey, this is how it's going, is we have a request. And we've actually already made this request to the city and gotten an answer, but we're looking for a formal answer before the full council. We have, as Dad said, we have almost 2.5 acres of irrigated grass, which is what brings people in. They want a nice green park when they come up. And we have a lot of common area horseshoe pits and barbecue pits and things like that. And we want to keep it green. And with the size of our irrigation, having it on the city system isn't the best option for us or the city, really. And so we looked into what happens if we drill an irrigation well. I know there's a moratorium on residential wells in the city. This is not a residential well. So we came and met with the city manager and the engineer Carl Linyard and Doug Franum back in May and tried to answer this question. And the answer that, and they consulted with your attorney, and the answer was yes, you can drill a well. Then we have to get ecology to let us use it. And so we've still been working our way through that. There are exceptions, and I detailed RCWs in your little packet here. But there are exceptions to needing an actual water right to be able to irrigate. And we feel we meet some of those. They're still deciding if we meet some of those. If not, we're going to apply for a water right because it's just for irrigation. And we have a water law attorney who said that if the city backs us, we'll probably get a water right. And so what we're looking, actually, he didn't say if they back you, they said if they don't fight it, you'll probably get the water right. So we're looking for two things from you. One is the determination that we got back at the end of May that yes, we should be able to drill a well and we can apply for one. We'd like that in writing if we can before have the full council concur with that. And the second thing that we're asking is something in the same letter that says that you're not fighting us irrigating from our project. We're only asking for the right to irrigate the proposed project, well, sorry, the permitted project, nothing more. That's all we have.
Thank you, thank you.
Angie, you might add just a little bit. Right now, we're on city water for irrigation. All of our irrigation is in the entire park. My biggest concern is we've got the biggest backflow device I've ever seen. It's about this long.
And expensive.
Well, it is expensive, yes, but we have it in there and we have it established, which we're required to and we want because we don't want any chance of any contamination going back into the city's water. That's one of the reasons we really want to drill our own well. We can eliminate the possibility of getting any backflow from the irrigation in any way because it won't be connected to it at all.
Exactly.
It'll be a totally separate system.
Our irrigation system is completely separate from the system for the water use throughout the park.
Yeah.
And so it would be easy for us to just not hook it into your system.
Very good.
Even though we have the backflow device, we just like to avoid that. And also, you know, in the summer, if for some reason there are water restrictions because the water up on the hill where you guys get it is low, if we have a brown park, people are not going to stay. And we're in a different water system than you guys. We could keep the tourists here.
The green is a critical item to us.
Yes, yeah.
Any questions for me?
Any questions
Or
or
for them.
comments?
Do we need to do a motion on this, or just thumbs up, or
Well,
what?
I think that what they're asking for is a formal approval or intent, and I think that a resolution is probably the most appropriate vehicle to make that happen.
So next city council meeting, you have a resolution ready for us?
That's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
If you guys direct me to do that, I will go ahead and prepare that, so.
Do we need a motion for that, or?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion to go ahead and have staff work out a resolution for the irrigation project to be include the works for the purpose of irrigation for the property as requested.
And second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the irrigation project for lawns and agricultural needs on the Stargazer RV Resort. Do we have the support of council? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Very good.
Thank you.
That
Appreciate your time.
work out for you guys? Can I draft up a resolution and send it over?
We'll make it work.
Perfect. And we'll attach it to our application to Ecology, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our water attorney says that would go a long ways with ecology if the city is backing you on it.
Very good.
Thank you for your time.
Very
Okay, you'll have a letter of support to go with it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. The next item is a presentation by Leslie Narramore, Executive Director of the WAGAP, Washington Gorge Action Programs, and the Goldendale Food Bank.
Hi,
Welcome, Leslie.
thank you. So I'm Leslie Narramore, for those of you who don't know me, and I have Casey Mills with me, who runs the food bank here locally. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Washington Gorge Action Programs, WAGAP, or what it is that we do. We are the community action agency for Klickitat and Skamania County. And we do a little bit of everything for low-income people. So we do housing, emergency shelter, energy assistance. We have 4 food bank locations as well. And we, in the last couple years, here serving Goldendale with our food bank, have come to realize that we need some more funding. So that is the main purpose of my visit here tonight. I'm not asking for any set amount, I'm just making the request and letting you know that anything that you could do would be very helpful. In our service area, the city of Goldendale is the only city that currently does not provide funding to my agency, and I'm not saying that to make anyone feel bad, but I think it's more that we've never come and asked. So we're here to make the ask now. So I'm going to turn it over to Casey and let him talk a little bit about numbers and what we see at the food bank and what it looks like on a daily basis there.
Hi, my name's Casey Milnes, and yes, we need money. But we're working on 2 volunteers. There's only 1 employee at the local food bank, and we're doing almost as much, or pretty close to the numbers that they're doing in Bingen. A lot of your customers used to go to Bingen, our Goldendale customers went to Bingen, now they're staying here. Reason is because they're getting what they need. We're supplying that, what their needs are. And food is the major thing, but they're saving gas by coming back to Goldendale. And we're sourcing produce out of here. Last year, we did about 6,000 pounds of produce. Up so far this year, we're at 12,000 pounds. So we're going out there and getting that and bringing that into this community for our customers. So, and we're also trying to decrease wait times so people are not sitting at the food bank. We're talking about increasing hours at the food bank. So currently right now we're on Mondays and we work from 9 to 3:30, but we're proposing an evening time so people can come to the food bank when they're done with work and they still need to come to the food bank, being open 1 day a week, to have an opportunity to do that. So, let's see, what else? Our overhead costs and our electricity and our rent, those are our big killers right now because we have to buy the space. And we're trying to keep our numbers down. Like she said, that there's not a lot of communities who are willing to give for our money for our group, but we could sure use some. We always could use money. And our donations here have really increased a lot. With the fire department doing theirs bid at Thanksgiving time, last year I think we collected over 4,000 pounds worth of food coming in, which goes right back out to the community. So our customer base has also increased. Like I said before, that what people would go down to Bingen, drive 40 miles away to get their food box when they could have done it here. And now they're coming back here, and I know I have to sign them up every week, so it makes it a lot easier when we have the food and everything to supply for everybody. And that's what we're trying to do. Anybody have any questions?
Well, could I ask a question? How
Yes.
much does white salmon, how much do they put into the?
Into the food
Into
bank?
the food bank,
Food
so
bank.
the City of White Salmon currently funds $6,000 and they do that towards our youth center. The City of Bingen does $4,000, they also do that for our youth center. the city of Stevenson does 12,000 for our Stevenson Food Bank. And then we also receive money from Skamania County for the food bank, and then we also receive money from the county of Klickitat for the youth center as well. And then the town of Klickitat donates their community center space to house the food bank that's in Klickitat.
Okay, yeah, good, thank you.
Yep.
We'll have that on the agenda for next, we're in the middle of the budget process, so this is probably the best time to cover this, I think. And can the city councilman, if they're interested, stop by the food bank? I have, and it's highly organized. You'd be amazed how many people need money, not money, but need food, and ages and situations. It's a very interesting process, and it helps the people in our community. This particular community has a lot of challenges economically, and this is one of the key tools to help that.
Yeah. Anyone is welcome to stop by and see what we do there. Our food bank is located in the back of what used to be our housing office, and then to accommodate that, we moved our housing office down the street a little bit. So it's right there on Main Street. It's right across from the senior center.
112 East Main.
Thank you.
And I brought some flyers in our last annual report. If anybody's interested in those, I'll just leave them for you. And I have one last pitch. Right now, WAGAP, Klickitat Valley Health, and some representatives from Klickitat County are putting together a forum to address the child care crisis that we have here in the city without having licensed child care. And on November 5th, we're going to have some representatives coming down from DCYF, that's the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, and they're going to be doing a little bit of a presentation on how to get licensed if you want to do in-home child care. And then we're also hoping to hear from the community on what it is that they need, what are the ages of their kids that they need child care for. So I would just like to leave this here and hope to see some of you there at that forum.
And child care is a really important element of economic development. If you can't have child care, you usually can't hold down a job.
Yeah, there's a whole generation of people here who are not able to work because they don't have child care.
Exactly.
And so that's a...
And then they see me.
Yeah. Well, thank you all very much, and please, if you have any questions, my info is on the documents that I left, and please feel free to reach out or stop by and see the food bank sometime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
Larry, for the people having in-home child care licensing, does that require the city license as well for a business?
We haven't done it in the past. Connie knows more than I do, and she says that no, we do not.
The state has some very
Right.
tough regulations, that's why they're going to be. I have a question for Leslie right quick. Where will this presentation be done on child care?
At the PUD,
Very good.
in their public meeting room.
Great, thank you, thank you. Any other questions or any other comments? Good, thank you both. The next item we'll go to the department reports, and we'll begin with Reggie.
So I only have a few things for tonight, Mayor. The first is, we do have the trunk or treat coming up. I believe it's next Thursday. We're gonna have 3 officers, myself and our 2 swing shift officers, that'll be out. We're gonna put a patrol car on Main Street. So we will have 1 officer passing out candy, while the other 2 officers are doing patrol for that night. So we're pretty excited about that, and it's usually a pretty good event, and it's been really safe over the last couple of years. We are currently doing a lot of training in the police department. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen our calls for service dramatically decrease from where they've been. And I think that's due to probably a lot of the weather, the colder weather that we've seen. And with that, now we can get back into our normal training that we do on Wednesdays. And right now we're doing a defensive tactics training. We're going to be focusing on baton, pepper spray, and getting our taser recertifications for this year. We have our officers this Wednesday. They're going to be going down to the Dalles, and they're doing simulated training scenarios that are down there. There's a gym that's in the Dalles, which is a great resource for us. where officers can go in, they have their guns, they have their less than lethal options on their belt, and it's a video room. And so we get as much practical experience on doing shoot, no shoot, use of force scenarios. And each officer gets to do about 30 minutes to 40 minutes down there a piece. So we're gonna be staggering them down every 30 minutes going down there. And this is some of the best training that we really can get. And it goes a lot for our insurance company, is what they wanna see with our training. We also, on the 30th, I'm gonna be sending 7 officers down to White Salmon for an 8-hour domestic violence training. That will get our yearly domestic violence. It's gonna be a legal update on domestic violence and legal considerations. And pretty much a lot of people in the whole county are gonna be going to that to get their hours in. And lastly, I have National Night Out. Was I think a great success. I want to thank Phil and the Goldendale Fire Department for really hosting that and putting that all together. I was able to have 3 officers in a patrol car, and our K9 Harley were able to go down to that. And from everything that I was heard, I wasn't able to attend it, but from everything I heard, it was a really good success. And sounds like this is even going to grow better and bigger next year. So I just wanted to make sure I thank Phil and the fire department. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Reggie. I think the National Night Out builds a tremendous connection between fire department, police, EMTs, and our youth particularly, as well as families, because these issues come up all the time. And if they know a policeman or they know a fireman, it's a whole lot easier experience for them to ask for help or provide help. So, good, thank you, thank you. Any other comments or questions for Reggie? Connie, did you have anything for your?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. Tonight, we don't have council business or resolutions or ordinances to discuss. We'll begin with our report of officers and the city administrator. We'll begin with Larry Bellamy's report.
To update you on a few of the happenings going on for the next couple of weeks with committee meetings and so forth. On Thursday of this week, we have a planning commission meeting, Board of Adjustment, Citizen Review Board meeting, all in the same night, so I can maximize the usage of my volunteers that serve on those various boards. We had thought about having a budget committee today before the meeting, but we weren't able to get enough materials together, but we do need to have one on the 28th of October. If that does work, and I have budget committee, Justin, Shannon, and Andy, is that right? Are you guys able to make it on Monday the 28th? Okay. And what time can we start? What are we looking at?
I was wondering what time this one was.
Anytime works for
So
me.
early.
Yeah.
How about 5:30?
5:30?
5:30?
Okay.
Yeah, 5:30. Tentatively, I'm looking at setting up an airport committee meeting for the 29th. I'll converse with you over the email to confirm that date, but that's what I'm working on right now. And then, of course, we already heard Reggie announce that the trunk or treat is on the 31st, and looking forward to that. It seems like always a great draw to downtown.
Yes.
Downtown really fills up on trick or treat, so that's pretty cool. We are starting out, we have advertised for new events coming up this next year, and we will have about the same amount of money that we've had in years past, around $50,000 to $55,000 to dole out. The application period is open, and we're waiting for those applications to come back in. The deadline to review and receive those applications is November 4th, with the event committee presentation, or the presentations of each of the proposals to the event committee is on Monday the 11th. Now, I know that's a Veterans Day. Does that bother any of you event committee people? Okay. Just so happens that it
You can buy all the veterans dinner.
Yeah, Okay. And then I wanted to report on, just briefly on the ordinance committee meeting that we had with, I think his name is Mike Howard, right?
Yes, sir.
And we had a good discussion about the situation there, but we came out of the meeting needing some additional information, so we're gathering that information, and at this point in time, we are staying any action on that parking issue until such time as we get more information to address some of his concerns. And then we also had a Public Works Committee. We updated the Public Works Committee on the goings-on with the water, sewer, streets, and especially, and we talked quite a bit about the kitchen down in Econi Park. At this point in time, as we said before, we did refer that to our attorney, and he is working on a response right now. So we will wait to hear from him before we take any action on that building. And then just a couple of things going on in Public Works. I did hear a couple of requests to make another round of pothole patching. So they're gonna do that as soon as the weather breaks at the right time. Try to maximize the use of laying down that asphalt for the pothole patching for as warmer weather as we can get. They've pretty much finished the RAS connection out at the wastewater treatment plant, and they hope to start working on that and testing it come later this week. They are working on winterizing the parks and prepping the snowplows for winter. They've got their red sand all in the container where they put it. And then they're also looking at burning some slash piles up on the mountainside where they've done the timber harvest. And I think that's about it. Okay.
Larry, what time was the airport meeting? Do we have
I
a time on that?
haven't talked about that, but usually it's at 7 o'clock.
7, okay.
Thank you, Larry. We'll begin with a report on, from our officers or city council members, and we'll begin with Justin Lee.
Thanks. I don't have anything specific today.
Okay.
Nothing tonight?
Must be too cold.
Okay, last couple of months I've been talking with Shannon and Phil about economic development, and after hearing from the chamber last meeting, I was a little bit concerned with economic development not happening in Goldendale from the chamber. And I was set to try to create a committee tonight, but I think we're gonna hold off on that and get a little more put together. But
Yep.
I think that the city needs to do an economic development committee instead of just letting the chamber deal with it. I think that both parties should be able to work on that, and I think it would benefit our city instead of doing nothing, so.
Well, quite a bit is done, but yeah,
Well,
you're right.
I mean, but as council members, I think there should be a
Yes.
committee and actually working on things to try to get something to happen instead of just waiting.
Very good. Anything else, Phil?
All right, well, I have a whole list, so. First, Goldendale Night Out, National Night Out was excellent. There's a lot of volunteer hours. I know not going to make it, so I have the 2 items to mention. We had a lot of volunteer hours. Worked with a couple of dispatchers that helped with the information coming out and planning, so yeah, that was great. It turned out great. We had a lot of turnout. Really grateful for the Public Works Department. Came out with the bounce houses, and that was a huge hit. We had the FFA high school group managed those, and they did pretty amazing. The 2 advisors were very exhausted at the end of the night, but they managed very well. So we had fun. We had some dancing going on. We had Goldendale Fire, we were on fire. We had some of the officers do a dance competition there. We had a little bit friendly competition going on between the two fire departments. And we are looking for more competitive avenues for next year. And we had a lot of great talking from the organizations that came out. We had Health Department, KVH, Life Flight, I can't list all the Washington Foster Program, and we had 18 participants altogether, which was great, and everybody's talking about coming back next year and doing a lot more. The Legion was great. Had some really good food for really, really great prices, so I had 2 burgers that night. So that was great. We're looking forward to next year as well. We had the fire department had the first grade visit this last Friday. We had 60 plus kids at the fire hall. We had 5 stations. We had help from Rural 7 Fire, Rescue 7, and we're focusing a lot on connecting with the kids, as mentioned, and teaching them how a firefighter looks in full gear. We've been hitting the preschools as well. I know Noah has talked about some previous incidents in the past where there was some lives lost, and it's still very fresh in everybody's minds. So we're focusing on fire prevention with this smaller kids, and making sure that if ever those to happen again, that the kids are gonna work with us, and everything's gonna turn out okay. So that is a lot of first graders in 1 hour. So let me tell you that that was exhausting. And they still had energy to run. So, and then I wanted to mention also, I'm wearing the FFA shirt. October 28th through October 2nd, the Goldendale FFA high school group is going to go to nationals and represent Goldendale. I had the honor of chaperoning last year, and I'm going there again. I chaperoned their state competition, and it was an amazing experience watching them go up on stage for their state competition and just be given award after award, first place, second place, top 3, top 10. They seriously work really hard. So that's coming up, and they Facebook Live the entire award ceremony and things like that. So I'll make sure to share that all across town, because they do need a lot of support. The kids have worked really hard to, even with the school budget cuts, they have raised a lot of the money themselves this year. So, yeah, so that's that. And then I wanted to follow up on the minutes for this. I know I brought this up again, but there was a lot of information that I think our minutes need still. So I think, again, to request that, to make, possibly looking into contracting somebody for our minutes. I know on the minutes, information, especially on the land issue that was brought up on the last council meeting, we don't have information listed as to what lot they're talking about. And I think for legal purposes and review, it would be great to have additional, not just that, but all over it. If somebody was to refer back to it next year, there's no information as that. So I think we need to look at that and maybe put it on the agenda for next regular council to have make a decision on what we need to do to make this a little more complete. And I think we're still waiting on a hearing from the attorney as to what needed to happen with those, with that.
Yes.
And again, just, you know, there's a lot of construction work that's gonna happen on those lots, and I'd hate to be caught legal-wise
Sure.
anywhere, not prepared and not having proper minutes, so. I think that is it, let me see here. Yeah, that's it, that's all I have, so.
Okay. Thanks, Phil. Adam?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I was at the event last Saturday. It was well attended and well organized. I thought that was a very good event. Also, this coming Wednesday, I'll be going up to Leavenworth to the Association of Washington Cities Conference, and part of it will be on rural airports. So I'm looking forward to attending that, and then the mayor, you'll be coming along too, and so, yeah.
Right.
You know, that's all I have, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Under, I've covered everybody, the mayor's report. I sent a letter today supporting a change that's been proposed for Highway 97 to become World War II Memorial Highway. This went to the Transportation Department, the state office that controls highways and their designations and their names and all. And this was brought about by a friend everybody knows here, Jim Miller, former colonel in the Army.
Actually, John.
John Miller, I do it every time. But he has brought this matter to the Board of County Commissioners, and they have requested and sent a letter endorsing this, and the city sent one today similar to it, because of the importance of celebrating World War II veterans as we build towards the anniversary of World War II, and the number of people who gave their lives throughout this country, but also many in the city and county. And the designation for the World War II Memorial Highway would only be through the section that goes through Klickitat County, which is a sizable stretch. But it's not a statewide change. And that's all I have. Okay, the next item we have is public comment, and the comments need to be limited to 3 minutes. If you're going to go longer, come in and let us know, and we'll put you on as a presentation next month, whenever it's convenient for you. Thank you.
Evening. Just getting my voice back, so a little raspy. Chet Biggerstaff, 4 Allen Drive. Two of you or no haven't heard me speak before. Glad to have you. There's a third, but she's not here tonight. A little over a year ago, I handed you guys a disc. Came from military intelligence called QAnon. Q. Well, Chapter 2's been released. The disc in front of every one of you is Chapter 2. I would strongly recommend watching it. There is a lot of good information on there. It's going to help you understand what's actually going on right now. Because we are in the middle of a coup. We are at war with the cabal, just like I've told you for a number of years now. Things are about to get very interesting. That's about all I can say right now, but I'd suggest to look at it. And as I get more, I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else here for public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close city council.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded to close city council for tonight. All in favor?
Aye.